Well, welcome back to the show and welcome Aaron Bellings. So today, what a treat. We have two of some of my favorite people, I must say. So Aaron and Michael Bellings will be joining us today, and they are the Bellings Brothers, whom I hired probably 13 years ago, as we've discovered. And they've gone on to be top team in the city of San Francisco with over $1 billion in sales already. And they have, in just last year alone, closed 70 transactions. That's pretty amazing. They're third generation of realtors. I know their dad well, and I'm very proud and excited to be talking with you today. So what we'll do is we're going to meet Aaron Bellings first, and then we're going to meet Michael Bellings, who will talk because they have different strengths, and then we'll have part two of our interview with you, which will be a joint venture of both the gentlemen together. Okay, so welcome, Aaron.
Excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see
You
you.
tell everyone they're your favorite stuff.
No, go watch the videos. Although I do like a lot of people, but I remember the day that I hired you and your brother, and we'll get into that when we meet with Michael as well. But it was a very exciting day for me, and today is also a very exciting day for me.
Same here.
So some of the things that I want to talk to you alone about, because I know that you and Michael, while you're brothers and joined at the hip, you both have very different strengths, and that you come both from corporate structure when I met you when you were very much younger, I should say, and you come from a data-driven basis. So I wanted to ask you about that, like how does the data play into your career and to your half of the relationship?
Well, my background was in finance. So I studied finance in college. I worked at Merrill Lynch for a brief stint out of school, but I've always been the numbers guy. So Michael and I make a really great yin and yang because he's the creative marketing right brain and I'm the data-driven black and white numbers left brain. And together we make one great brain.
That's great. And how do you utilize that in your partnership?
Absolutely. Well, it's utilized in pretty much every aspect of our business, as you know, like from commissions to pricing to over asking to percentages to just numbers and data and everything, especially in today's world, especially with today's very smart consumers and very smart home buyers. They want to see the data. So you have to have a little bit of everything, right? You have to have a full tool belt, as we like to say, for your real estate. My Batman outfit. But I love the data. The data is just like what makes me happy. And it's easy when you're talking to somebody when you can back it up with actual facts. Because they'll listen to me, but at the end of the day, they'll listen to me more when I can back up what I'm saying.
We're not always listening to facts anymore.
There's
But
a
in
lot
real
of
estate,
information
sure.
out there, but it's easy to find the data for real estate when you're tapped in.
And so do you compile that on a weekly basis, a daily basis, a monthly, quarterly? How do you do that?
It's a little bit of all of it. It's a little bit of an as needed, but it's just about staying top of mind and staying like in the know and in the trenches. Michael and I were lucky enough where we have only one city where we focus. We do 100% of our business in San Francisco. So we just stay on the forefront of all of the tech, all of the numbers, all the neighborhoods, all the insights. It's a lot easier when you're not covering North Bay, South Bay, East Bay, city, people go all over the place and that's great. But what works for us is being the subject matter experts in one spot.
All right. And there's plenty of homes in San Francisco.
Plenty of homes to go around.
Yeah.
It's a lot of non-Googleable data too. So everything that you read in the news or periodicals or whatever it might be about real estate is always 6 weeks old because there's 30-day escrows and that takes a couple of weeks to compile. So all the data that we provide too is real time. So we can actually get the data from the street level.
Excellent. And then do you provide that to buyers and sellers as you meet with them on a regular basis? Do you use it in your listing presentations and your buyer? You probably have a buyer handbook or something that you like. Buyer's guide. To home ownership.
We try not to overwhelm people right out of the gate. Sellers are going to need it a lot more than buyers will. Buyers will need it at the time when they need it. So you're drinking from a fire hose when you're buying your first home in San Francisco. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to understand. There's a lot to get from things like this is simple. It's like open house etiquette to reviewing disclosure packages. So if you start throwing just data at people from day one, they're going to drown pretty quickly.
Right.
So it's released intentionally at the right times and when it makes sense for them to do so.
But if you need it.
As you know, it's one domino at a time, getting a buyer from the initial email or phone call to handing them the keys, and the data is provided throughout that process.
Excellent, excellent. And so with that, how do you, it's interesting to me, people who are data driven, how do you balance the emotionality of buying a home?
Well, it's a skill set that you learn, I think, on the
Did
go.
you have to learn that?
I mean, yes and no. I've always been, I like to think personable. I've been in sales since day one, from my lemonade stand, you know, and my Beanie Baby sale as a kid.
I love that.
I mean,
love that.
my brother and I were entrepreneurs from day one, you know, going from squeezing the lemons in our yard to understanding that we could go to the grocery store and for $3 buy a giant tub of lemonade, and that helps the margins right off the bat. So I can't remember where the question started, but
Well, the emotionality of buying, yes, because when you have some people, I've hired people in the past who, literally, one of my favorites is this gentleman who was Russian, and he was a rocket scientist, and he wanted to sell real estate. And I was like, I don't know that you're really cut out for this, because your engineer brains don't always work with sales, you know, mentality.
Right.
So, and he tried, bless his heart, and I tried my hardest to train him, but he just could never get out of his own way. So sometimes I find people who have that sort of left brain, right brain, you know, depending how you deal with the emotionality of the stress of buying a home. And do you bring Michael in at those times, or do you work together on every transaction? That's
So we've been business partners since day one.
Right.
We split everything 50-50, but we learned from basically our second transaction on, so a long time ago, that when there's two personalities and two sets of opinions and two things going on, it's too much for everybody. Right. So we will always typically meet with people initially, sellers, like together, but then one of us will be the main point of contact moving forward.
Okay. That's good.
And that way they know they always are going to get two opinions, you know, two great minds, two top producers on their team, but also there's only one point of contact, so it's not overwhelmed.
Right. And also I find that people, you know, the buyers are not watching this, so I'll say, but they do tend to say, well, Michael said, you know, or so-and-so said.
There's a lot of right answers out there.
Well, there's also a lot of blaming, you know, when they
Yeah, no, but we're an aligned front for sure.
Yeah.
And on the emotionality piece, I think I've always loved working with people. So I think that I like the left brain aspect. So I do enjoy working with investors also. Like, I'm not gonna say more or less, but when people give me like, hey, here's what we have to spend, here's what I need on a monthly return, go get it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the non-emotional aspect. I love that. And I can just kind of dig in the numbers and make it happen for them.
Yeah.
But I love equally, because it's also like less, I'd say, powerful handing an investor a set of keys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I closed on a multifamily 2 weeks ago and they still haven't come to get their keys for me yet.
Yeah.
Versus like the first time home buyers, like we close at 3 p.m. We're there at 3:05 delivering keys, hugs, cheers, all that. So that's also like very powerful. And I love that aspect of my job.
Well, it's great that you have that ability to go either which way. And that's really, really helpful on a team. It's good to diversify, you know, so we don't always get pigeonholed into one way of working. So that's really nice. And when you work with investors, since we're there, do you do spreadsheets for them and calculations as data like that? Or do you just...
Good question. Yeah, I can. A lot of people like to do their own calculations. So I will give them, everyone's always going to get my honest opinion. So, hey, this is why I would or would not buy this building. This is why I would or would not buy this house. But in terms of the spreadsheets, I rely on them to make their own calculations, but also I'm going to provide them with what I think makes the most sense. Again, why it's priced a certain way, why it's worth a certain thing, what does our upside look like? Because there's a lot of things too that can't be calculated ahead of time, which is like there's a 3-unit building and one's 10,000 square feet and one's 3,000 square feet, but they're listed for the same price, and why? You know, and just kind of being a forensic real estate agent and finding, you know, where the upside is and what the benefits here might be, things like that.
Right. Excellent. So, so do you work primarily with buyers or sellers, or what do you think your business, since you're the data person, what are your numbers?
So we work about 60-40 buyers versus sellers. So Michael and I are lucky enough to just have a great network of folks now. We have a huge referral business, but we are the #1 buyers team in the city since 2018. And what that means is we've helped more people buy homes here than any other team. But we also are the number 2 overall team in terms of transaction volume. So we do a heavy listing side also. But we try not to pigeonhole ourselves in one way or the other, because I meet agents all the time. They're like, oh, I don't work with buyers. I'm like, it's so silly. Why would you cut off half of your potential income stream? And I get it. Buyers can be trickier than listings, especially in like a hot market. But no, we focus on helping people accomplish whatever their real estate goals might be. And sometimes it's to buy and to sell, for example.
And you're both so young. So, I mean, imagine that most of your clients are of the buying age.
Yes.
Does that factor into your calculations?
A lot of well, let's put it this way. Michael hates when I say this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Our first listing was the 3rd buyer we ever helped buy a home. So basically, you have to start as a buyer's agent in San Francisco. Yep. And really, I think in any market, but I can only speak to the one that I know. So everyone starts as a buyer's agent, and then eventually it evolves into whatever your business evolves into. But we took our first listing, and we then met 5 more neighbors and sent out 500 postcards. And then that turned into our next listing. And then it just becomes this spider web that just grows. And it's all these people that started with their first-time home buyers that we've now helped buy their 2nd, 3rd home.
Nice.
Like our very first person that we ever sold a home to now owns not only a 2nd home, but also an investment property in San Francisco.
Nice.
And they always come back, and we always love reminiscing. And now that we're 13 years removed from it, we always tell our clients, remember, you were the first one.
Oh, it's so nice. People love knowing that too. Yeah. That they were the first, and they love to stick, with us. They love to be repeat clients if you do a great job. I mean, that says a lot for your reputation.
That's the key. Is you're only, or what our dad taught us is you're only good as your last transaction. Mm-hmm. So you can be the number 1 agent in the world, right, but if you mess up your last transaction, you're back you got to climb that mountain again. So you got to do a great job every single time.
Yeah, one bad Yelp review again.
Yeah,
you're dead.
But and you're driven, like you have the incentive to continue to do well because of things like Yelp and all of that. But Michael and I just love helping people, and we just love what we do, and it's just all organically turned into this amazing thing.
Yeah, well, it does show that you love what you do. I've known that from the day I met you, and I can see it in your face. You're just happy to be involved in real estate. You love it, and so it's natural.
I'm not always this happy to talk to office managers, but we love you, Paula. And we have a lot of history, and a lot has happened at this table that I'm sitting at. So I'm extra happy.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's so wonderful for you to come in and take the time. I know you're really busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share, because now it's your turn to give back a little bit.
Absolutely.
Since you've been a rock star, both you and Michael, and now you're giving back. So I hope that people will really enjoy our segment.
Absolutely. Well, we're open books. We love helping. We love paying it forward. And we had many mentors growing up, and you just take what you can from all the people around you, and we're ready to give back in that.
That's great. Well, we're going to wrap there and let Michael talk about his side of the team, and then we'll come back to you both together.
Deal.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll do too, Paula.
All right. We're sitting with Michael Bellings now. We just finished with your brother Aaron, which was really fun to see him again and to have some time with him. And now it's your turn. So the other half of the Bellings brothers, I don't know. I think, some people say the better half. I'm not sure. I don't know. You guys have just been so wonderful. I love working with you, and I have over the years. So Michael has always been the marketing person on the team, and you came to us from a marketing background. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me first and foremost. We'll leave the better half to the comments in the video. If we can have people take polls and vote on there.
Well, no, what I meant to say about that, let me clean that up. What I meant was, in relationships, people say, oh, my better half.
Right.
So it would be up to you to say that. Not
there we go. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't mean it that way.
I say younger, better looking. He says older, wiser. We'll leave that to the audience.
That's great.
Yeah. But basically, when I started at Vanguard, you hired me, and we were so excited to start at Vanguard. But before that, I was only 1 year out of college, actually. Wow. So I majored in marketing at USC and did a ton of marketing internships, worked at a company very briefly after college doing marketing, but it was just always a passion of mine. Mm-hmm. I love people, I love communication, I love marketing, I love the creative, and bringing that to the real estate business was incredibly fun and felt like a natural fit. Something I learned early on, maybe from you, I can't remember, but two most important parts of selling your home are pricing strategy, marketing strategy, and then maybe the third, the preparation strategy. So when Aaron and I got together and decided we want to do this, we said, well, he'll take the pricing and the data and the finance, and I'll take the marketing and creative. And that's what we pitch to people. And it's a really happy marriage, frankly.
That's great. That's great. Well, it's true. It is a good marriage, and it is a good two different strengths completely. So it's hard for somebody to have all of that talent. So it's nice to share. Tell me what you do for your marketing on your listing appointments and your buyer broker,
Yeah. I mean, there's no one size that fits all. We like taking a custom approach. I know a lot of people say that, and it's easy to say custom, but we really try to, depending on the neighborhood the property's in, what shows best to that property. Is it a single family home? Is it a condominium? Is it a TIC? Is the location more important because maybe it's a smaller home, or is the location not as good? So maybe we focus more on the home. But I call it my integrated marketing communication plan. And that's jargon basically for hitting as many marketing channels as you possibly can in order to create this kind of perfect marketing strategy where at the end of the day, you don't know if your buyer's coming from New York, down the street, the neighbor, China, England. You don't know where your buyer's coming from. So our goal is to basically turn over every stone and use every marketing channel we can to layer on top of each other. So at the end of the day, we don't know if this channel is working or that one is, but if we have all of them and they kind of go cohesively together, we will find the buyer to pay the highest price possible for it.
And what are those layers? Are they social media? Are they print material? Tell us about that.
Yeah, good question. I mean, we're third generation realtors. I think you talked about in the beginning of the video. So we really tell our clients, we have an old school approach that we learned from you and our dad and a lot of mentors here. And then we have our new school approach where we learned from the younger generation, frankly, now that I'm in the older generation at this point. But no, it really is taking the tried and true marketing tactics, being in the San Francisco Chronicle, having beautiful brochures and statements, having a great, neighborhood map showing the highlights of the area with a new school approach of, we invest in YouTube ads. We've really invested in video. We've really invested in social media. So kind of taking some of those new school and old school tactics and putting them together. Because I think if you're only doing social media or video, and you're not focusing on some of those old school tried and true tactics, you're doing the seller and yourself a disservice.
And you may miss people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We get calls all the time where it's the grandpa or the dad that goes, I saw your ad in the Chronicle. Right. And we still get those calls. So we're still going to invest in having those ads. But we've had a lot of fun at trying to innovate with professional property videos, but also Aaron and I like to have some fun in our videos, as you'll see as well on our social media.
I've been watching them.
People really identify with that. We try to come to the table and they already know us before they've met us. And that's because of our social media, because of our video presence. They feel like they know us already and they're friendly neighborhood realtors and in their home, and they already kind of know us at that point before we come in. And that was intentional through our marketing.
That's nice. Yeah, really great. So do you have your own YouTube channel?
We do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't seen that one. I'll have to go look.
Yeah, we're working on bolstering it. It's always a work in progress, but we've turned our attention more towards it these last few years.
It takes a lot to maintain all of that while you're still selling 70 homes a year.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you balance all that?
The gray hairs that you see here.
Yeah. Do you work like 14-hour days or?
Oh yeah, we work 24/7, but
24/7.
Yeah, we've started to set some boundaries and work. I think it's about working smarter, not harder, but also utilizing your team, really. I mean, Aaron and I committed to ourselves that at X amount of sales, we were going to get a marketing person. At the next X amount of sales, we were going to get a director of operations.
Excellent.
Aaron was our TC for many years. Now we outsource that.
I remember.
So it's really important. I mean, a lot of agents get bogged down where they think they need to wear all the hats. And I think we do wear a lot of hats, right? We're therapists, we're marketers, we're all these things, but utilizing your team, utilizing your resources, working smarter, not harder. I try to work on dollar productive activities. And for me, that is a lot of the marketing, but I outsource a lot of my marketing to people that are better at marketing than me. A lot of my marketing tools I learned in college are very outdated, and I have to constantly learn new tools and work with my marketing person. But yeah, utilize your resources. You can't do it all.
Especially today with things moving so quickly with the AI and so on. So I want to mention something that I didn't in the intro, which is that you were one of my very first stars on the 30 under 30 nationwide recipients.
Yes.
And, you reminded me today, which I also remember that you were very young when I hired you. And so did you tell us about the 30 under 30 a little bit, just for a moment, because that was a shining moment for you. And I want to highlight that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was honored at 30 under 30 when I was at Vanguard. You can watch my video on YouTube, actually. I was in the lobby here. That was something that was always, when I got into real estate,
You were like 20.
I started when I was 23, so I think I got 30 under 30 when I was 28. And it was always a goal in the back of my mind. I said, if I can make this real estate thing work, I really want to be a 30 under 30. And I was honored to win my first year I applied, which is very rare to do. And I really attribute a lot of that to the marketing I did through 30 under 30. They loved my video. It was definitely ahead of the curve at the time.
Yeah,
what it really did for me was open up a community of people around the country that are top-notch realtors, that when I go to the conferences or I can call one of them, they're at my level or above, and you're sitting in a room with these people that are brilliant. And, we were doing well, and you think you're the man and this and that. And then you go sit in this room and you go, oh my gosh, like I can learn a lot from these people. And it's really opened my eyes to a lot of different resources, tools, community that I didn't have access to here. That's really, opened my horizons, which has been nice.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what that is, it's a rising stars, young folks who are under 30 years old. They choose 30 nationwide. And that's quite an accomplishment. I remember it well, so I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. Now I go to the alumni conferences, so I'm well over 30.
That's what reminded me. I did see that.
Yeah.
Recently you went to the alumni and you said it was really wonderful because you had these long-standing relationships with these agents that you've basically grown up with.
Absolutely.
Well, you are growing up.
And there was a class of 2,000 people there. I was class of 2018, so you're literally learning from people that are almost 50.
Wow.
And then I learned some YouTube tricks from these guys and gals that are 20.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was fascinating to get to. That's the old school, new school that we just love.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So in your experience, what role does storytelling play a part in your real estate marketing?
A big part of it. I think what we try to talk to people about is lifestyle. You're not just buying a home, you're buying the neighborhood, you're buying the block, you're buying the lifestyle and the dream that you want to have. So telling a story about what coffee shop is down the street, what park is down the street, what kind of vibe do you like? I mean, San Francisco has over 75 neighborhoods, very eclectic, very different. We were lucky enough to be born and raised in the city, and I think that's really helped our career, and people really identify with that. So we know what San Francisco used to look like, we know what it looks like now, and we can think about what it's going to look like in the future. But telling stories about each neighborhood and about the building and about the lifestyle that you can have if you move into this place. But I think a lot of people get into real estate robot mode where it's just 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, this is the square footage, this is that. It's like, no, tell the story. What's the neighborhood like? What's the vibe like? And stories are incredibly important.
Stories of your experience as well?
Absolutely. I don't think we've seen it all. It's been 13 years and I know there's still a lot more to see, but I try to advise my buyers and sellers based on my experiences that we've had in previous transactions and deals to help them not make mistakes and educate them on what the best path forward is based on. We have so many horror stories. I mean, we can have another video about that'll be fun.
It's important because people rely on that experience, and that's where that's why I was curious if you use that in your business.
God, you mean that storytelling aspect? Yeah, I mean that's what AI can't teach you, right? All of our buyers these days are sending us, summaries of disclosure package links, right? But there's way.
Is that what they do now?
That's what they do now.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah.
How do they even do that? I mean, you can't load the disclosure package into AI.
You can.
Oh,
yeah.
you can.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of that from buyers, but that's why you need to
Here's
rely.
a summary. Here's
Yeah.
the highlights.
Yeah.
Is
But of course,
effective or no?
I'd say no. I mean, it needs to learn a lot more to understand. I mean, what's important in San Francisco is way different than what's important in Madison, Wisconsin. And I don't think they can really, separate those exactly. But yeah, we use all of our horror stories and all of our success stories to try to lead clients to the right path based on that. And literally the other day I was telling a client about, they got countered back and forth about 6 different times, my buyer, and the seller lost them because they were tired of getting countered. And I told them the story about how that's why I advise my sellers, you're going to lose this buyer. There's an emotional aspect of this business. You can't just keep ping-ponging them around and keep countering them. And they lost my buyers. And, you know, I tell those stories so that my sellers and buyers don't make mistakes like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think life is made up of our stories, and I think the more that we can share, the better. And so thank you so much. This has been wonderful to get to one-on-one with you a little bit, and then we're going to go cut here, and we're going to meet with Aaron, and have a nice little session together.
Amazing. I love it. Thanks,
you.
Paula. Thanks so much.